Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the front line with Joe and Joe Pasillo, and let's go into the breach. I can't stand Pete Buttigieg. This guy, I mean, I can already hear the liberals out there who might catch 5 seconds of the front line with Joe and Joe if they had the audacity to click on one of our videos. You're picking on him because he's gay. He is an evil man. He is the typical example of everything that we're fighting about in this culture war. In his view, everything is racist. Roads are racist. The design of those roads are racist. Let's watch this, okay? I'm sorry to, hopefully you didn't just eat your dinner, and you might want to make sure you hold on to your gut. This is only about 44 seconds, and by the way, look who he's talking to, the Reverend Al. Roll the clip.
We've got a crisis when it comes to roadway fatalities in America. We lose about 40,000 people every year. It's a level that's comparable to gun violence. And we see a lot of racial disparities. Black and brown Americans, tribal citizens, and rural residents much more likely to lose their lives, whether...
I mean, Mayor Pete, because that's what he is, Mayor Pete. Are you saying that white people, whatever white people are, we reject that category? But are you saying that white people are actually driving down the road targeting American Indians and black people and brown people? Is that what you're saying, Mayor Pete? Because you're very muddled right now.
Whether it's in a car or as a pedestrian being hit by a car. There are a lot of reasons related to discrimination.
If you're a black guy driving down the road and you get T-boned by a tractor trailer, you have the same chances of dying as a white guy, Pete. Race has nothing to do with it. But by the way, in the next 10 seconds, please look at the look on Al Sharpton's face, as though he's looking at Pete Buttigieg as someone who actually has something to say. Roll it.
To even the ways that roads are designed and built, who has access to a safe...
Look, there's the look. He's actually looking at this guy like he's taking him seriously. But then again, this is someone like Al Sharpton who we should never take seriously.
Street design that's got crosswalks and good lighting. Who doesn't have that access? That can drive disparities, and we have a responsibility to act on that.
Okay, so let's get it straight, Pete. See, you grew up in South Bend, Indiana, and for anybody who wants to know exactly what Pete Buttigieg is all about, I suggest you go listen to E. Michael Jones. Go Google E. Michael Jones, Pete Buttigieg, because Pete Buttigieg grew up in South Bend, Indiana. You grew up in South Bend, Indiana. You didn't grow up in New York City. You didn't grow up in Chicago. You didn't grow up in Detroit. You didn't grow up in Newark, okay? You didn't grow up in LA. You know what we had in Newark? We had lighting on the streets. We had crosswalks on the streets, okay? We had curbs on the streets. We had warning lights on the street. We had all sorts of things and still do, Mayor Pete. So the roads are not racist. Those who constructed them are not racist, because guess what? Those roads that I walked on when I was a kid in Newark, New Jersey are the same roads, same streets that every black kid walked on. Guess what you had? All the safety precautions that everybody should have walking down the street. You are a liar, Mayor Pete, is what you are. You won't do an interview with anybody who's going to challenge you on this nonsense that you put forth, like roads are racist. They were designed to be racist. Listen, what you don't understand is the history of America, Mayor Pete, okay? There's a lot of people who were discriminated against. Guess what? Those same WASPs who didn't want black people in the suburbs, they probably didn't want Italian Catholics either. They probably didn't want Irish Catholics either, because Italians and Irishmen were not the ones that were designing those roads. That was a different group. What you characterize as race is at a whole different category that you just don't understand, or you don't want to, because what you are, Mayor Pete, is you are a left-wing ideologue. That's all you are. So let's get it straight, Mayor Pete. Number one, you never grew up in the city. You have no idea what urban areas are like. You have no idea what black people go through in the inner city. You have no idea what anybody goes through in any urban area in America. You're from South Bend, Indiana. You stayed inside your house your whole childhood. You never had any friends. You decided later on that you were going to be gay. Your father was a communist and got hired at Notre Dame, which is a whole other conversation. And somehow, some way, you got yourself to being elected the mayor of South Bend, Indiana, and you didn't even know the width of the alleyways through which garbage trucks had to drive through because the garbage trucks you ordered were too damn wide. And again, I refer you to E. Michael Jones when it comes to that, because E. Michael Jones is actually one of your neighbors. So at the end of the day, Pete, listen, you could cry about being gay all you want, and that's why you're being attacked by people like me. No, you're just a left-wing ideologue, and you deserve every attack you get. Point blank